Hello.
Hello.
All right, how does this work? Just get started? Okay. My name's Aurora Lora, and I am currently the Associate Superintendent for the school district, and I've been tapped to take over the superintendent duties for the time being. But a little bit about my background. I'm a former fourth grade teacher out of Houston. Had experience as a principal of a middle school, and I founded a public all-girls middle and high school in Portland for predominantly low-income girls. Then became an executive director of pre-K-12 schools for Seattle, then an assistant superintendent for Dallas, and now I'm here. And I'm thrilled to be here, and I am excited to be tapped for this role at the time.
What do you see your role is like right now? What is your position, would you say?
So right now, definitely the most important thing is to provide stability during really tough financial times in the district, and also to build bridges and be out there listening to the voices of teachers and families and students, and figuring out how do we build relationships and just strengthen the supports for the people in the field.
Will you only be providing stability, or will you be enacting any sort of changes?
Well, you know, for the last 2 years, I worked jointly with the superintendent on building the strategic plan for our district. And we worked with many community members. It's called the Great Commitment. And these are the 5-year goals that we have for our school district. So we are still committed to working towards those goals, trying to figure out how to, during tough budget times, still keep the work moving forward, still keep making progress towards those goals, and giving teachers the supports that they need in order to help make those dreams and goals, actually come true.
What do you think can be done to improve morale? I mean, you've got budget cuts, you've got this uncertainty right now, layoffs that have happened. What can be done to, I guess, bring up morale and encourage the people who are within the district now?
You know, I think one of the most important things is just providing stability and showing people that I'm here for the long run, that I care about their voices. I want to be out there hearing about what we can do to better support them, and figuring out how during tight budget times to actually provide that support. I think rebuilding some relationships is really important right now. And I will say I'm starting this afternoon just kicking off a listening tour where I'll be out taking questions from teachers and families, and just listening about what they hope for the future in this district and what I can do to provide that for them.
We know you can't comment on Superintendent Neu, but based on what a lot of people said to us, he seemed to have been quite polarizing. Is there something that you will be doing differently?
All I can say is that I will be out listening to people. I think the voices of our families and communities is so important. And I'm a relationship builder. And I think it's, I care so much about the families and the students and the teachers. And I think that will be evident in the coming weeks.
Superintendent Neu, I think, has been pretty open that you would be the heir apparent, if he ever left. Do you feel like, that you want the job if he leaves?
I can say that I have been training for many, many years to someday become a superintendent, and this is my dream job. And to take over as superintendent for Oklahoma City would be such an amazing honor. I applied for it 2 years ago and did not get selected, but I came here anyway. I love this city, and yeah, I'm prepared to step up and do whatever it takes to provide strong leadership for Oklahoma.
So you did apply 2 years ago, and obviously we know what the decision was at that time, but do you feel like, had you taken over then, that things would have been any different, or if you are chosen to be the superintendent moving forward, that there will be changes that maybe you would have hoped to have made by now?
Well, I can't say that after I didn't get selected, they gave me some really great feedback on the things that I can do to strengthen myself as a leader. And I've spent the last 2 years really working to learn more about those areas and just getting better and stronger. So I can't comment on what would have happened in the past, but what I can say is I'm ready, I'm excited, and as long as Oklahoma City is interested in having me be their leader, I'm excited to be here and I'm ready to step up.
And what would you say to the people of this district, the parents, the students who maybe they've been hoping for a long time for some good change and maybe they haven't seen what they want or what they were hoping for? What would you say to encourage them that you're here for them and that you want good things for their children?
I think the two things that I would say is, one, kids are so important and absolutely have to be our number one priority in this work right now. We've got kids in schools every day, who are and families who are trusting us with their children to make sure that they're going to graduate prepared, and that is my number one focus. And I think that'll be evident through the work that I do. But the other thing that I feel like I would tell people is I love Oklahoma. This is a place where I want to be for a long time. I just put an offer in on a house. I am committed, and I want to be here for the long run.
Do you currently live full-time in the city?
I do live full-time in the city, and I'm about to purchase a house.
Can you talk about your past and what makes you so qualified, as you see it, for a district that has such low-income communities?
All of my experience has been in urban districts and in low-income school districts. So when I was a teacher, I taught at a school that was 90% free and reduced lunch. It was in Houston ISD, so it's a large low-income school district. But then beyond that, my school where I was a principal was a low-income school. The girls' school that I founded was, also a low-income school. So all of my experiences has been in low-income communities. That's where my passion is. And just on a personal level, I had attended a low-income high school. I graduated valedictorian of a low-income high school in El Paso. And my mission is to prove that kids from low-income communities absolutely can achieve at high levels if we properly prepare them and put the supports in place. And so I feel like not only my experience of having graduated from a low-income school, but also all my urban district work has prepared me for this role.
There have been talks of discipline type issues in the district. Do you see, for now, anything you can do to help improve those issues?
Yeah, I do think that there is some validity to the fact that we need to provide more supports to teachers and principals. We all want to make improvements, but we've got to give teachers the tools to know what to do when students are misbehaving. We can't just ask them to be different without actually giving them support. So part of what my listening tour will be about is hearing what would really be helpful to teachers and to principals in order for us to kind of meet the goals that we've set out in terms of reducing the number of discipline, but making sure that we are just giving schools the tools that they need to be able to actually really enact them.
And what are your thoughts on charter schools?
Well, I will be at the charter school meeting tonight, and at this point what I can say is I'm here to listen to the voice of the community. I want to know for the actual families who live there, what are they most interested in? I can say that I support all schools that give kids a quality education. I want that for every kid in our city. What that looks like, it doesn't matter if it's a charter or a district school. I just think we need great schools everywhere.
When you think about the 2 years that you've been here, there has been some changes. You guys have worked with Learner First. Mayan is been at schools, coming to more schools next year. What have you been most proud of when it comes to curriculum and improvements that you guys have done there in the last 2 years?
Well, one of the things, when I first got here 2 years ago, there was just a tiny, tiny curriculum department for this district. It only had 5 people. And we didn't even have a math department or people overseeing really important subjects for our school district. And for a district of this size, I've never heard of a place that didn't have a curriculum department that could answer questions for teachers, give them the supports, give them the training. So I think the most important thing that we've done is rebuild the curriculum department, make sure we've got someone leading math and science and things that all districts should have. And as we've rebuilt that support, we also built a professional development department. So I think what you've seen in the last 2 years is teachers have someone to call downtown if they have questions, if they need assistance. And I think that was an important first step, and I think it definitely paid off in our first year of test scores. We've got a long way to go, but I think that was definitely a step in the right direction.
Do you see yourself going down the same path, basically, that Rob Neu started?
Well, I do think that our big path is the Great Commitment. That's our 5-year strategic plan, and the great thing about that is it involves so many people in our community, the voices of teachers, families, students, business community, board members, elected officials. all of the people came together to talk about what they wanted to see for Oklahoma City. And the great thing about having a 5-year plan is that regardless if the superintendent stays, we've set the vision for what we want for the kids in this city. And I'm excited to say that that will be my commitment, is to fulfilling our great commitment for the kids here. So from that perspective, like, we're continuing down that path.
You were a teacher for some time and also did Teach for America, which is really exciting. But can you talk about any work you're going to do in terms of helping teacher morale?
Yeah, well, I think it's going to start just with this listening tour, getting out, meeting the teachers, learning about what kind of supports they need, and providing that. And I think, saying it is one thing, but them actually seeing me do it will be another, and that'll be really important for them. And I'm starting this afternoon. I'll be at Capitol Hill Elementary meeting with their faculty after school. We've started to set up visits for PTA meetings, faculty meetings, lunchtime visits where I can just hang out in the teacher's lounge just to meet the teachers and the staff that work there and learn about their experience in our district and what we can do to make a difference. And I think that'll really, if I can do that, listen and start to put some of those things that they really need in action, I think that'll be a big boost to morale.
And I'm not very familiar with this, just so you can clarify. Do you know if it's common for superintendents to have had teaching experience in the past?
It differs. In some districts, they've had teaching experience, and in other places, they've gone with a non-traditional route and not had someone with experience. I personally think it's really important, and my experience as a teacher is something that I think about every day as I make decisions for this district. I like to put on my teacher hat and just think about how any decisions we make are going to impact people in the field.
Some PTAs have expressed interest in raising money for teacher salaries. How are you working to make that happen?
So we are going to take a proposal to the board to talk about what that might look like and what are some guidelines that we can put in place to make sure that there's a level of equity that we're able to apply to the district. Because unfortunately, not all schools would have the ability to do that. And every school has got some dire needs that they really want, things that they would love to put back. And what's hard is that if your school doesn't have enough money to raise funds for that, you would never be able to get access to it. So one of the things we're thinking about is, in my former district, which was Portland, they had a district equity fund where a certain percentage of funds raised by a school community went to a district equity fund so that low-income schools who couldn't raise their own funds could apply for grants. And so we're taking a proposal like that to the board. It'll ultimately be in their hands, but we do want to just make sure that every school is able to get the things that they need.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Obviously, this is a critical time for the district. Have you been given any sort of timeline as far as how long you'll be in your current position, and then you would be promoted or anything like that?
I have not. I'm just here to step up and do the job as long as needed.
Have you talked to Rob Neu at all about moving forward or anything?
I've not talked to him in the past week.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank you.